first thing I would want to know is what are you trying to protect your brand from? Because there's a couple of different ways that things have to be done, and not there's no one company out there that's one size fits all. Okay, so you need to be looking at companies to protect your brand that specialize in the area that you need, and we've really broken it down into two things. One is you've got what I call black and white legal. You're either on one side of the fence or you're not. The most common form of that would be counterfeit. And as long as a brand is able to properly prove that, and the burden of proof is entirely on them, patent infringement, those are areas to where, when properly proven, the platform has to get involved. So what that comes down to in brand protection is a broad monitoring and a software systemization of takedowns or reporting systems to the platforms themselves, that they're able to take the appropriate actions because they have to, because of the type of violations that are taking place, being black and white legal, or easy legal as we refer to it in house. Number two would be gray area of legal, or a civil legal infraction, where the platforms, one, can't, and two, won't get involved. So there's no platform, to my knowledge, that has judicial authority awarded to them by the United States government. At least not yet. Amazon might be tracking its way there soon enough. But realistically, these things really boil down to a civil dispute. So because of that, there are certain ways that you have to be able to leverage what your federal rights are within the U.S. borders to be able to protect your sales channels on these platforms. So that's something that you're going to need an entirely different type of enforcement group for, one that's capable of identifying the principal or owners of the accounts, and has a streamlined system in order to get a hold of the owner of that account directly in order to legally, morally, and ethically force them into stop selling and hold them accountable for their violations to the brand.
Well, that sounds great, but I look out there. How do I know who's what? Because we know that just from conversations that there are brands that do the black and white stuff that say they do the other. There's others that do the easy stuff that say they do the other. And how do you sort that out so that you're hiring the right doggone firm?
To me, it's pretty simple. Would you go to a neurosurgeon to operate on your spine, that also on his lunch break operates a hot dog cart, and after work works in an auto mechanic shop, and before he gets there is a janitor in a pediatrician's office? No, you want a specialist. You want a neurosurgeon that literally does nothing but neurosurgery. I keep seeing these little fly-by-night companies pop up, and yeah, they'll sell your product and they want to be exclusive, and yeah, they can do takedowns through this, and oh, by the way, we can do enforcement. We also do fingernails, teeth whitening, oil changes, catering.
Well, and that's mostly in the consultative, help you sell areas, but there are also other firms that position themselves as they're one side or the other related to dealing with counterfeit or dealing with unauthorized, but commingle the fact that they do everything as well. How do you sort that out?
I've never seen one able to do both with any level of effectiveness, at least within the U.S. So when you're dealing with your counterfeits and patents, your black and white legal, or your gray area, which is the unauthorized or illegal sale of legitimate product, those are two entirely different things that require entirely different approaches. On one side, you're really using software and the marketplace's policies to leverage your enforcement. On the other side, you're actually holding the violator themselves accountable. And that's not something that, at least so far in today's age, is possible to do through software alone. It's really, and if there's a brand that actually has both of those issues, then they need two providers, one to be able to handle each side of the fence on that. It's not something that can be done both in one. A hammer cannot also be a drill.
So currently in the marketplace, the people that are out there really can't do both, despite what they say.
No, and I'm not, I have really good relationships with several providers that do that black and white or counterfeit areas. When I talk to them directly, they tell me point blank they can't do the unauthorized within the U.S. because of that gray area of legal. Now, in counterfeit, they're awesome. They've got high speed technology, some amazing visibility. It's great what they can do, but at the end of the day, two completely separate issues. You're talking about a hammer on one side and a drill on the other. If you try to pound a screw in with a hammer, you're gonna you're gonna have to fix something. And likewise, if you try to drill a nail with a drill, it's not going to work correctly. Each one of these is going into place, and they're made for a specific thing. But you either have to choose one or the other. And if you need nails and screws, then you need a hammer and a drill.